Hi everyone. Today I want to go over the simplified IELTS Task 2 writing band descriptors. This is only for bands 4, 5, 6, and 7. I find that a lot of students are stuck at either a band 4 or a band 5, and a lot of students want to get to either a band 6 or a band 7. This was put together by one of my good friends, and I find that this table is much easier to read than the public band descriptors. First, all of this information comes directly from the public band descriptors. Most of the language is exactly the same. It's just broken down in a much simpler, easier to read method. I want to go over a few of the key words that may be confusing for some students and give some explanation about them. And hopefully this will help you, whether you're a teacher and you want to use this for your students, or if you are a learner and you want to have a better idea of what you need to work on to get to the level you want to get to. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is task response. Task response just means, did the writer complete the task they were given? First, all writing tasks have to be more than 250 words. I have an example task here that we'll use throughout this video. It's a two-part question, and it says, increasing the price of petrol is the best way to solve growing traffic and pollution problems. What extent do you agree or disagree? And what other measures do you think might be effective? To complete this task, the writer needs to express agreement and disagreement in one paragraph, and they need to talk about other measures that would be effective. Now, let's talk about the first part here, that is tangential. A tangential response is a response that goes off topic. A tangent is going to be information that is not relevant to the topic, it's maybe not appropriate for the topic, and it's not suitable for the topic. We go back to our example here. A tangential response might be if the reader starts discussing how traffic and other issues are making people move to the countryside. Moving to the countryside is a tangent. It does not talk about increasing the price of petrol, nor does it talk about other solutions. The next thing I want to talk about here is the phrase partial response. A partial response means the writer only completed part of the task. Returning back to our example here, a partial response would be if the writer talked about the extent they agreed or disagreed, but did not talk about the other measures that might be effective. They did part of the task, but not all of it. The next part I want to talk about here is this phrase that says, no conclusions made. So, no conclusions made, you can see this on the public band descriptor right here. It says, band 5, no conclusions drawn. This does not refer to the conclusions paragraph, but rather it's drawing conclusions from your ideas. Let me give you an example. We're back to our handy-dandy example task, and I'm going to have a response for this. What other measures? Down. Now, if my idea is make cities more bicycle friendly, for example, building bike lanes and having a bike rack on city buses, I haven't drawn any conclusions from this. I haven't said how this will be effective. I haven't explained why this will work. So to draw conclusions, if you are struggling with this or one of your students is struggling with this, you need to explain why of your idea. You can do this by showing cause and effect, having more explanation of your idea, even telling a story or real-life example to highlight your reasoning. The next thing I want to quickly discuss is the ideas. So you see this part here where it says, ideas are difficult to identify, repetitive, irrelevant, unsupported. This means that your ideas need more details. At a band 4, there's not enough information. You're repeating the same things. Irrelevant means they are not on topic, they are not important to what is being discussed at that time. A great way to overcome this is make sure you have a great outline. Make sure you have 1 or 2 major supporting ideas for each paragraph, and you're going into some detail at developing them. If you look at a band 5, they say not sufficiently developed or irrelevant. So ideas that are not sufficiently developed, they need more details. And to overcome this, make sure, again, you have 1 or 2 major supporting ideas, and you are properly developing those. A good rule of thumb or a good general idea or rule is to have about 5 to 6 sentences in a paragraph. Each paragraph should have about 1 or 2 major supporting ideas that are developed with minor supporting ideas. If those phrases are unclear to you, major supporting ideas, minor supporting ideas, I do have a blog post about paragraphs that explains those. Okay, the next part I want to talk about really quickly is coherence and cohesion. Coherence, if an idea is coherent, that means the idea is clear. You can understand the idea. Cohesion means things are united or work together. So in writing, cohesion means the ideas work together. One more time. A coherent idea is a clear idea. A cohesive essay means the ideas and paragraphs work together. The one thing I really want to focus on in coherence and cohesion is this phrase, progression. No progression at a band 4, lacking progression at band 5, and clear progression at a band 6. At a band 6, clear progression means there is a clear line of reasoning and logic throughout the essay. Ideas follow the same line of logic. They fit together. So let's use an example to see this. Again, this is our task, our example task. Price of petrol is the best way to solve growing traffic and pollution problems. First body paragraph would be the extent you agree or disagree. The second body paragraph would be other measures. If this is my first body paragraph, I disagree that increasing the price of petrol will solve the problem because people and things need to move from point A to point B. And then in my second body paragraph, I talk about other measures could include more roads. There is a clear progression in my line of logic. I think people need to continue to drive, trying to decrease drivers is not the right idea. So building more roads fits with that idea. But if I write in my second body paragraph that there should be how about toll taxes. These are taxes on or tolls you have to pay to go through certain roads. That would not fit with this logic that I presented up here. Up here, I say people and things need to move. They need to travel from A to B. And if I say a good solution might be to have toll taxes and charge people to drive on the roads, that is not the same line of logic. So a clear progression of logic means your ideas follow the same pattern of thought. They follow the same reasoning. Lacking progression, well, it's not quite there. There's some problems. There's some problems within the logic. No progression, there's no real logic that you can follow through. Paragraphs. Let's look at a band 6. It says, uses paragraphs, not always logically. This means that maybe the writer is breaking up a paragraph of two major supporting ideas into two separate paragraphs. So breaking up similar ideas unnecessarily into separate paragraphs. Could also be a writer is mixing different ideas together into a single paragraph. To overcome this, to get into a 7, which is clear central topic in each paragraph, make sure you have a clear outline before you start writing. So before you start typing up any paragraphs, make sure there's a clear outline where you can look and make sure that the details within each paragraph follow a clear topic and they have clear line of reasoning. I quickly want to talk about vocabulary. There's only a few things I want to talk about here. At a band 7, it says vocabulary, there's sufficient range of vocabulary with flexibility and precision. Let's first, I want to look at this word adequate, which means something is okay. Something is adequate, it's okay. Sufficient, though, means enough. So if you have sufficient vocab range, you have enough vocabulary to discuss things kind of easily, that you're not going to struggle for words. It's great. It's very important to learn vocabulary by topic. That'll help quite a bit. This word down here, attempts. This comes from the public band descriptors that says attempts less common words. These are going to be collocations, idioms, higher level vocabulary words that are at a C2 level. Attempts means you try to use them, maybe successfully, maybe not, but you do try. With awareness of style and collocations, that means less common words such as collocations, higher level vocabulary words, they're used in a way that a native English speaker might be expected to use it. They're used in a way that is not as mechanical as a lower level user would use them. That means the learner or the speaker or the writer in this case can use these less common phrases and words purposefully or in a way that makes sense, that has a style. Let's move on to the next part, which is grammar. So in grammar, you see under structures, they say at a band 6, the writer is using a mix of simple and complex sentences. Cambridge.com has a great post on what those sentence structures are. So under grammar, words, sentences, clauses, you can find this. And they break down a compound sentence, a complex sentence, and a simple sentence. Quickly, simple sentences have one main clause. Compound sentences have two or more main clauses joined together by a coordinating conjunction. You may know those coordinating conjunctions as fanboys. And a complex sentence has a main clause and one or more subordinate clause introduced with a subordinate conjunction. All right, the last things I want to talk about before we wrap up here is sentence accuracy and errors. Down at a band 7, it says frequently error-free. Sentences are frequently error-free. There is no percentage or number for what frequently means, but it clearly means that most of your sentences are grammatically correct. They don't have errors. If you want to reach this level, try to keep track of grammar structures that cause difficulty and grammar structures you don't feel comfortable being able to write immediately. This last thing down here rarely reduces communication. That means the errors rarely reduce communication. Think of it as the reader can almost always understand your ideas and sentences. All right, that is all that I really want to talk about for this. I hope you find it useful. Please feel free to download it, use it in your classes, or use it for your own writing. Down here, I have a little guide on how to calculate your band score. Just remember, they don't give half bands for the individual categories. Meaning a grammar will always be a band 4, 5, 6, 7. Grammar will never be a 5.5. So when you're using this chart, if you have a blue for structures, a 6 for structures, I should say, a 7 for sentence accuracy, and a 6 for errors, just make sure you're giving a whole number, not a 6.5, but probably a 6. All right, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Good luck.